Hi, welcome to Lecture 2, Part 1, the introduction and overview of objectives and student outcomes for Module 2 that runs from March 18th to the 24th. And the title of this module is Elementary Secondary Education Settings and the grading practices in Clark County School District. So this module should be useful to all of you as you all teach in CCSD. But before we get started, I wanted to briefly go over the changes for this week's content. So, for this week's activities and things that you have to do. So for one, you'll see that readings 5 and 6 are mixed in between, and they really aren't readings. They're actually more or less handouts and PDF descriptions of grading policies within CCSD. So don't get overwhelmed. Some of them are like 1 or 2 pages, one having graphics and 2 having some descriptives, and then the other thing that you'll note is that one of them is a brochure. The only article is reading 7. Number 2, there is an individual practice to demonstrate understanding, and that is your midterm check-in, which is very important. So make sure you read all of the rubric requirements and also take some time, also take some time to go over each of the initial steps. You only have to do step 1 and 2, but there is a level of detail that is required. So please make sure you pay attention to that. And then for this week, we'll have our first collaborative group activity. I'm going to try and keep all of our collaborative group activities into the discussion area. This is another way for me to test out you working within groups, but you having an opportunity to collaborate with everyone. So with that being said, this will be a group discussion, and you'll be looking at some fast facts about CCSD and contemplating how those things impact overall grading policies and environments within the district. And then finally, you'll have a reflection. So that will cover the week. Let's go into the overview of the actual lecture. So within this lecture, remember, we started off with understanding where we are as a nation in regards to how public school came to be, and then what brought the standards that we have. This week, we're going to look at what that means on a state level, and we're going to explore CCSD and the grading policies, and they are specific, but they are really hard to find. So the objectives: after completing this unit, educators will know current grading policies and procedures within CCSD. I have a lot of things, resources that you can walk away with so that you can have access to these things at your own terms. And there's nothing greater than power of knowledge, especially as an educator. So when you see the things that I'll give you access to, you can integrate those into your professional development plans. And when you go up for evaluation, you can demonstrate what you aren't doing according to not only school level policies and procedures, but how you are integrating state level policies and procedures as you should. The learning outcomes are pretty simple. After completing this unit, educators will apply the following skills. You should be able to evaluate and explore current standardized grading requirements within a district and current school settings. So the whole entire purpose of this course is for you to become more acclimated with the grading policies and procedures so that you can change the way in which you integrate them into your course, to diversify the methods to make sure that students actually have a chance in passing. Truth of the matter is that not all grading policies fare well for students, but you do have the power and control in how you use what is defined as policy and requirements to make sure that students get what they need. So hopefully by the end of this part, you'll at least be able to start thinking about that. Here are the assignments due for the end of the week. Remember, I said this is a discussion, not a interactive. I was going to add a timeline in. However, I didn't want to overwhelm you since you already have one large thing that's due, and you do have a reflection due this week. Finally, brief intro to the readings. There are 3 handouts for this module. Let me just change the number for that. Sorry about that. I don't like errors, and when I find them, I have to fix them right away. Sometimes, when you're in the process of creating, you don't always see. Anyway, that's the point of this being a live announcement. Some of the lectures are recorded and then re-recorded if there are a lot of issues, but for the announcements, it's okay. All right, brief intro to the readings. Reading 5 is the some gradebook facts that you should know. Reading 6, facts about CCSD grading system. And then, and I think that one's the 15 fixes for the broken grading that we do sometimes. And then reading 7, Infinite Campus Grade Book. So these are our resources for you that we'll go over this week. And it is really to keep you informed and help you to navigate the current teaching environment that you're in within the district. Things to consider: your current school grading policies, and then 2, differences between your school and district level policies, because we'll see at the end of this that sometimes school districts can or schools can put into place certain things that seem good but have a different impact on student progress and also achievements. Okay, that wraps up everything for the intro. Sorry for it being a little longer than I wanted it to be. Stay tuned for part 2, which is the first 2 readings lecture. I hope you're having a great week, and if you need anything, feel free to email me.